Hello and welcome to Weird Around Illinois. We just got back from the movies. We just saw Disclosure Day. We're going to talk about it, so let's get weird. All right, so we talked about this movie a little bit in the past. We were kind of excited about it because there are some people who feel that it's kind of mirroring real life. It's a movie by Steven Spielberg starring Emily Blunt. It's about what happens when the truth gets revealed to everyone about what's really going on with UFOs. It kind of presupposes that there's a UFO conspiracy or cover-up going on. So we just got back from it. What were your first impressions?
Oh, initially I'm thinking that it's really, really good, in my opinion.
Okay.
I feel like there's definitely two opposing sides.
Mm-hmm.
It felt too chaotic to me.
Hmm.
That's all I can say.
Okay.
I wasn't a big fan personally.
Okay. I guess I'm somewhere between you two. To be honest, the movie felt very familiar to me. Just a quick plot overview. I mean, you've basically got these two groups, as you said, who one is trying to disclose the information, one is trying to conceal the information. I won't go into all the details about who's who or any of that stuff, but there are a couple characters who seem to be central to the disclosure, because they've got the files that need to be disclosed and also because they have some weird connection to the aliens. I felt like it took me a while to figure this out, but the movie that kept jumping out in my head was Starman, an old John Carpenter film that involved trying to get an alien back to a certain spot to reunite with his kind. And that's also very similar to a Steven Spielberg movie, of course, E.T., where the whole thing was trying to get the alien back to his people. In this case, we're not trying to get back to his people, but it's still a race against these dark government forces to try to get to a certain spot in order to, I guess, save the aliens or save the humans or save both. So I did enjoy it because, like all Steven Spielberg movies, it was very well made. I mean, the special effects were great. The acting was pretty solid. I guess I was disappointed in a couple performances, but for the most part, considering literally the only person in the movie I could recognize was Emily Blunt, and I couldn't tell you what else I've seen her in. I guess he got the most he could out of that cast.
Yeah, it's kind of the same for me. I knew nobody in that cast, but I think that's a good thing for a lot of movies.
Yeah.
I don't want a bunch of celebrities because then it just gets repeated.
Yeah, then you're watching Tom Cruise. You're not watching whatever character he's playing, or that was just the first name that jumped to my head as a larger-than-life actor.
Yeah.
I did recognize one other guy from there. I had to look him up, though. He's the guy who played the new Captain America, like in the Thunderbolts.
Oh, yeah. I thought about that before.
Yeah. He played probably my least favorite character in this or any movie, which is the bumbling boyfriend / husband who tries to do the right thing but ends up nearly ruining everything.
Yep, that's him in every movie. He must be a really good actor for that. Because that's every role he's ever had, I feel like.
True.
Including Captain America.
Yeah, but I do see what you're saying about the chaos, though, because there were a lot of kind of chaotic moments, and I didn't like how some of the chaos was diffused, I guess. It seemed like they would ramp up to these really, really tense confrontations, and then it's like, and then they're just going to walk out of here.
To me, there's too much that's unrealistic. Mm-hmm. And to me, it takes away the actual message of the whole movie.
That is fair. Like that one train scene where like the car was somehow being dragged for so long. That's so rare. It's probably more rare than aliens being real. Just
so you know, we can never show that scene to your mother. She will have nightmares for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's there were those moments, and you have to suspend your disbelief, as you do with most alien films, I suppose, or most action films. And this was kind of on the border between an action film and a drama. But you talk about the central message. What do you think the central message of the movie was?
I think the central message was there's clearly like two opposing sides, and there's the one side that wants to get everything disclosed, and of course there's fighting in between the two, which I get, but there was too much random stuff that I just couldn't make sense of, and I felt like someone was pulling random cards from a hat. And like, now this can do this, now this happens, now
Oh, you mean like the magical device that could do whatever they needed it to in that moment of the script?
Yeah, that's a perfect example.
Okay, yeah,
perfect example.
Given no context, I agree with that.
Yeah.
In terms of the main idea of that, I believe that it's more so trying to portray that the government or whoever is holding this information to this day, like the reaction from us, the people, will be very different from what they expect. And I found that I found that kind of special with quite a few lines. I don't know if I should read them out or mention it, but like from The Nun, that one line where they said, well, it was talking about God and how we're God's greatest creation on earth.
Yeah,
in the Bible.
She said she was quoting that apparently directly from the Book of Genesis.
Book of Genesis.
And I'm gonna have to reread that that paragraph and see if that's actually true.
Yeah, if it is, that's a great line.
It is, and that can allay a lot of people's fears because your grandmother's a deeply religious woman and she struggles with the idea of extraterrestrials for the exact same reason that the religious characters in this movie did.
Yeah.
But maybe there's a place for them already written into the Bible.
Yeah. Stuff like that I think was very well written.
Yeah.
But there's just so much fluff to me. It just takes so much time.
Yeah, I have to admit, I felt like I was watching two movies. I felt like I was watching a mediocre action movie and a great sci-fi drama. It was like when Hugo was lecturing the main antagonist about why this needs to be disclosed and why this knowledge belongs to everyone. I felt that was a beautiful moment, and that should have been the overriding message of the movie. And to you, apparently it was, so that's good. It got through. But I can also see why people wouldn't necessarily see that as the overriding message of the movie, because it does get kind of lost in the chaos a little bit.
Yeah, and I think I know why they did that. I mean, it's for many movie reasons. I mean, it's just Hollywood. And also there's a lot of young people I noticed in the theaters that are watching this. They probably don't go as far in as we would into analyzing this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they just want something cool. They don't want a bunch of dialogue that has some meaning. They want some action. Yeah. That's what they got.
And, if that was his goal, I think it worked.
Yeah.
Because if you just observe, like, the group of young people sitting next to us, they were in total chaos mode for, like, the first 20 minutes of the film. They wouldn't stop talking. They were jumping around in their seats. They kept moving. And then suddenly they were still. They did not move for, like, the last 2/3 of the movie. So Spielberg hooked them and maybe opened them up to his central message.
Yeah, maybe.
True.
Let's talk about that central message a little bit, because that is something that I know people debated on the internet a lot, because Spielberg is a very powerful man in Hollywood and in life. I mean, he's got connections on connections on connections, and a lot of people are saying that if there is an alien conspiracy, he knows all about it. And this might be his way of either poking the people he knows are the gatekeepers of this information and saying, hey, we can handle it. Or he's one of the gatekeepers of this information, and this is his way of saying, okay, folks, you can handle this. This is what's coming. If he's actually involved in this in any way. It could also be that he's just a filmmaker trying to make a buck.
Yeah. All those are possible, I suppose. The thing with me, I guess, is that I don't know enough about Spielberg, so I'd have to do a very deep dive on that guy. But
well, if you look at his filmography, I mean, of course, my favorite movie of his is Jaws, but that's not really part of this. But he did E.T., which is, for many years, it was the highest grossing movie ever. He did Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is, most alien purists would consider that to be like the best extraterrestrial movie ever made. And now this one on extraterrestrials. He's also done a couple other, I forget the names of them. He did a handful, though, on alien contact, and he did another one called AI, I believe, on a not an alien, but like a boy who's artificial intelligence. But he likes to circle around this topic. This is clearly something he's passionate about.
Yeah. Well, he's high into fantasy kind of ideas, like the megalodon and a shark.
Yeah, although Jaws wasn't a megalodon. He was actually just a great white.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a very big great white.
Then I'm just stuck in the other continuing movies.
Yeah, those were knockoffs.
Shark inflation, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, shark inflation. of a sudden you've got Meg and Meg 2, and you've got Megalodon versus Killer Python, and then you've got like, what was the other one I was trying to think of? Sharknado.
Oh boy.
They just keep upping the ante on that.
Yeah.
But no, he was the one who created the first movie, which was actually a character-driven movie, as you may recall, that, you know, the shark was a character, but it was not just a giant shark movie. And I guess that's the thing about Spielberg. He, as a general rule, he makes you care about his characters. And I did care about a few characters in this movie, so I guess to that extent it kind of worked.
Yeah, in a way, I even cared about the main, like, I guess, villain in a way.
Yeah.
It was very strange, but like throughout, I could kind of see the good in him.
Yeah. Yeah, and they alluded to the fact that he had changed due to a life event at some point in the movie, but I guess one thing I respected about this movie, it does reinforce the lesson that I guess I've learned in life. There is nobody who is the bad guy in their own mind. Everybody thinks they're doing the right thing. And I think this guy really thought he was doing the right thing, and that if these other people did what they were going to do, it was going to cause human society to collapse.
Yeah, to me, it was just two sides that had different viewpoints, basically.
Well, hopefully it changed somebody's viewpoint on if society will crumble at the facts or not.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Do you think that society would crumble if they find out that aliens are real?
No.
I don't think so either.
Interesting.
I mean, after all we've been through already, I'm surprised that we haven't gone to civil war already.
Yeah.
But just aliens, it would be, I don't know. I feel like there would be a lot of mixed reactions for sure, but at the end of the day, eventually we get used to that.
Yeah.
Adapt. I mean, that's just what we do.
You know the thing that scares me about Alien Disclosure?
What?
The way it's delivered. Because, in the movie, in the one shining moment, you get all the news broadcasts showing the raw feed and what's going on. You know that's not going to happen.
No.
Fox News is going to portray it as a great victory for MAGA, and CNN or MSNBC is going to proclaim it as a great victory of the left and how aliens hate MAGA. And, in Russia, they're going to say that the aliens have been held down by the American oppressors all these years, and now finally they're coming forward to embrace their Russian comrades. It's everybody's going to put a spin on it.
Yeah. And another perfect example of how it's not realistic. It was all rushed together. There were, like I said, cards taken from a hat. Like, okay, boom, 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 it's on the news. There you go. It was rushed together.
Yeah. Yeah, I see your point. And you're right, that wasn't realistic. I don't think, I could cut into a local news feed with an alien sitting next to me at this podcast, and he could be laying out a plan for world peace, and it's still not going to be picked up by New York or any other news feed until they've analyzed it, recorded it, re-recorded it, spun it, and put a fake t-shirt for their news program on the alien.
Yeah, that's all very true. So a news outlet or journalism in general, that's not an option.
Yeah.
The government site, I feel like their credibility is lowering by the minute.
Yeah.
The weird part was, though, in this movie, it wasn't necessarily the government that was like the opposing side.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of outlets where it would be publicized, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made that vague, and I think basically Spielberg was trying not to upset the government because he didn't want them to overregulate his movie. So he didn't come right out and say this is a government agency trying to shut this down. He made it a private corporation that was in some way affiliated with the government, and the government didn't really know what they were doing, and that was kind of far-fetched too, now that I think about it.
Yeah,
but
because I don't remember her name anymore, but she said, like, those are not FBI agents.
Yeah.
And that tells me exactly what he was thinking. Like, I don't want the government involved in this.
Right.
So
Maybe he was just trying to hint towards the Men in Black.
Maybe.
could be.
The main character wasn't black.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Black SUVs, black cars.
Heck, a few of them were in fedoras, I'm pretty sure.
Certainly in the old videos, they were in fedoras. I don't remember if the new ones were. And that brings me to another question. How did you guys feel about the old footage, like Roswell and oh god, where's the other one? Kecksburg.
Oh, I had a feeling that was definitely overemphasized. That would be my guess, but who knows? Really, you could never tell with the movie. that they always do, but...
Well, I think that video footage probably is hope more than anything. Hope that the newest footage someday will look like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it means it necessarily will.
I thought it was a nice tip of the cap to all the UFO researchers over the years who claim that things have happened at those places. Kind of a, yep, you're right, something happened there. Just in the context of this movie. I also thought it was kind of funny that they mentioned Sykesville as one of the spots where they met up in the movie, because that's another place that's had some high strangeness. But there were actually people before this came out, the internet theorists like us, who were actually alluding to the fact that Spielberg might be releasing some real alien footage in this movie, and that maybe the stuff from Roswell and Kecksburg and things like that were actual alien footage that the government had allowed him to release. Did you see anything in there that made you think that? And not just those. I mean, also like the Navy stuff and the Air Force stuff and all that.
The only one that caught my eye particularly was when we saw the 3 triangle formation, a ship underwater and going fast. That one looked pretty realistic, but past that, it all kind of looked like, animation and CGI and whatnot.
Yeah, and I guess that's another problem that I have with the movie. There was one person who pointed out, is that AI? And they kind of just dismissed it, no, it's real.
Yeah, they said we ran it through the filter or something, or ran it through the checker.
Yeah, something like that. Too rushed, once again.
You're saying you can't determine in 11 seconds whether or not something is AI?
I'm not convinced the government even has AI checkers. I mean, to the highest degree. The ones that you get on the internet to check if an image is AI or not, they're not even always accurate. So I don't know.
So how would they know if it's even real? They're just trusting these people with the drives, whatever.
Yeah.
Saying, okay, it's real. Let's just run this.
So you're telling me they found yet another magic device, the internet checking device, or the AI checking device.
Yeah. It was all magic.
I did see some magic too in the powers of one of the characters, where it seemed like at one point she could read people's thoughts, and then at another point she could pretend to be anybody from their past, and then at another point she seemed to be able to influence people.
Yeah, I will say that one's so far off the rails. At the beginning, I was like, "Oh, cool! They're talking about astral projecting and all that.
Yeah.
That's super cool." And the main villain entering a person's mind controlling them. But then just a bunch of other powers showed up, and it went crazy.
Yeah,
I was wondering if the main characters were abducted by aliens or something. But I don't know what was happening exactly.
I think they were at one point.
Yep, it explained at the very end with the whole flashback thing.
Yeah,
it showed that they were both abducted, and they were the animals were the aliens, but they just changed their sights.
So if an animal ever stares at you for a very long time, be worried.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, see, it is so chaotic that just flew right by my head.
I'm glad we didn't see this when we still had the pug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been convinced their pug is an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I guess the overall take on this is it's a good movie. It's an entertaining movie, but you really have to suspend your disbelief, because it just feels like maybe, I don't know if Spielberg wrote it or if he just directed it. I'll have to check into that. But whoever wrote the script, it just feels like they kind of wrote themselves into a corner a few times and then just gave them some sort of magic powers or magic device to get them out of that corner. And that's me as a writer talking, not me as a podcaster. But I do find that to be lazy writing, and I can't forgive that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that part.
sure.
Well, if any of you have seen the movie, we'd love to hear your take on it. And if there's any other movies you think we should be checking out, we'd love to hear about those as well. I'll take any excuse to go eat 3/4 of a bucket of movie theater popcorn. But as always, we thank you for listening and thank you for subscribing.